maybe, but a lesser demon.
Well,
I don't
okay,
know.
hold on.
Like an
he's
imp.
evil enough.
Guys.
He's a slime.
Well,
Listen,
there's levels
hey.
to demons.
yeah,
hey,
you're going to
listen.
tell me about levels to demons?
Yeah, let's talk about levels to
Are you
demons.
serious?
Demon or reptile person?
Yeah.
Thin line, Phil. That's a thin
You think
line.
he's
No,
immortal?
because demons are
Immortal?
spiritual creatures.
He's not a
And
spiritual
Wait.
evil.
Hold on. I'm with Mike on this one. Reptilians, like when you describe someone as reptilian, they're not good
Hey,
at
what's
social.
going on, folks? I apologize for the delay, but I wanted to get a few things together because I wanted to take the time to address. Well, you heard a little bit of it, right? Demons. And for those of you who might not know who this cast is, it's Tim Pool from Timcast. IRL. He has his own channel, of course. He's a huge. He's one of those what you call big fish, right? Millions of followers on Discord, all over social media. You will find his shows pretty interesting. Comes on every night at 8 o'clock on YouTube live, and they have a lot of good discussion. So I highly recommend you go check out his channel. But I've decided to go this route simply because we have so much that's going on right now in society that it's like it's unbelievable that it's actually taking place and that we're actually witnessing it firsthand. Some people are witnessing it up close and personal. Um, and it's only and of course I believe it's stuff that's it's not new per se, but it's new to us. And due to technology today, cell phones, CCTV, YouTube, Instagram, all of those social media platforms, people are quick to pull out their phones. We get to see these demonic activities take place. And typically we wouldn't think anything of it, right? So right now we have you can turn on any news media, you can pull open any social media app, platform, whatnot, and you're going to see a bunch of crazy, insane events taking place. Things that just don't make sense. Like it's like you to us anyway, us who are grounded in our faith and we recognize it and we don't engage in it. We're it's we're used to hearing about it from others who may have experienced it, but now it's literally like at our front door, and we're seeing it day in and day out, and you wonder what is going on. Now, of course, us who are believers, like we already know, right? Like we know it's evil, we know it's demonic, we know it's it's the devil. I mean, and his demons, his minions. He's puppeteering, basically, if you want to call it that. But I just thought that I would take this approach because we could talk about the riots in California, which I believe are just a staged a staged. They're pulling at your heartstrings and trying to get you to act out. We could talk about the Carmelo Anthony and his that with Austin Metcalf. We could talk about Simone Biles and Riley Gaines on men and women's sports. We could talk about all of that stuff, right? But one of the things that all three of those topics that I just mentioned have in common is is that they're rooted in evil. They're rooted in the demonic realm. It's a spiritual thing that's going on, guys. Is basically what I'm trying to get out. But I came across this video from Tim Pool, and here's a fact for you: Tim Pool isn't even a Christian. I'm not sure about the rest of the people on the panel, but I've noticed how there are other people who are non-believers, and I don't think you have to be a believer to believe that there's evil, like spiritual realm type stuff, but to actually call it by or call it for what it is, which is demonic. Typically people will just be like, oh, that's just some evil stuff, or oh man, that's pretty messed up. They wouldn't acknowledge it properly. They wouldn't acknowledge it for what it really truly was. And yes, there's other cultures that, of course, that speak of demons, and they're not Christian based or anything like that, but they acknowledge them. And I also and apparently Joe Rogan, who didn't care for Christianity at all, it seems like he's going, he's he feels more obligated to go to church now, apparently, allegedly, from what I've read and seen. So before I keep going, hey, please, please, please hit that like button, comment, share, subscribe, hit the bell, receive notifications for when I drop a new video, and go check out my Instagram. And without further ado, let's keep going.
They're not good at social behaviors. They're weird and cold and they lack emotion. Demons can convince you to sell your soul. They're very
I
charming.
think the reptiles are demons. Reptiles are demons.
Okay.
Definitely.
Someone needs a dictionary.
Definitely.
Bro, are you kidding?
Someone needs a Bible.
The reptiles are from Zeta Reticuli.
That's why I smell like sulfur.
They're
I touched
aliens. The reptiles are at best interdimensional beings, not demons.
I've seen him put on his skin suit at the presidential debate, and then
That
he
means
was
he's a
like,
reptile, not a
Hey,
demon.
hold on.
Demon.
Thank you.
Demon hiding.
Gavin Newsom puts on his skin suit one leg at a time, just like all the other reptiles.
One tail at a time.
One scale at a time.
One tail at a time.
Oh, yeah.
I can't believe it. Demons to me speak of power and danger. He does not seem powerful, dangerous.
But there's demons who are low level, like
Even the
working,
low-level
operating
ones.
behind
Yeah,
7-Elevens, trying to get children, and there's demons in politics.
I don't
There's
think
demons
he's
like
that.
Ted Bundy, and I think he's definitely.
I would trust
no.
Gavin Newsom to babysit my nephews.
Wait, I got it.
What?
I don't think he's
would
like
definitely
that.
not.
I got it. He's a familiar.
So, for those of you who may not be familiar with what a familiar spirit is, it's a demon that attaches itself to an individual or families. So one of the preachers that I enjoy listening to, and I have several of his books. One of the books that I have right now, I kind of need to get I need to get back into it. It's called Return of the Gods, and in his book Return of the Gods, Jonathan Cahn is who I'm speaking of, and he talks about how demons in ancient pagan or as ancient pagan gods. He argues that many ancient pagan gods, such as Baal, who some say Baal, Moloch, and Ishtar, were actively representations or manifestations of demonic spirits. Um, Khan claims that these same spirits have returned in modern times, but in disguised forms. So Baal, Moloch, and Ishtar, he calls like the what is it? They're the dark entity. So Baal is the possessor and opener of the spiritual door. Moloch is associated with child sacrifice, and we equate that to abortion. It is a blood sacrifice. Ishtar, who is the goddess of sexuality, gender fluidity, and that's linked to the modern sexual revolution and gender ideologies, right? So those three stories again that I mentioned, the thing about what's going on in LA, California, and apparently is starting to pop up in other states, mostly liberal places, because we red states, we don't go on like that. We don't play that. Carmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf and Simone Biles and Riley Gaines. That touches on all three of those. So go, and if you don't believe me, go check it out for yourselves. All right. And but it took me that's why it took me so long to figure out what I wanted to do with this video. And I'm trying not to make it too long because it can be, you can go deep into this. But in the book, Jonathan Cahn, as far as with Western civilization and of course America, was once largely under the influence of Judeo-Christian values, which you go back to the Constitution, the Founding Fathers, Declaration of Independence, all of that was grounded in, or in Judeo-Christian values. So as society has turned away from God, look at all the craziness that we have going on, right? You got drag queens, you got the border that's been that's not been secured in way it's been forever. It seems like it's been forever, but it's been a while, right? And Trump has come into office, and now we're getting things back in order. Whether you hate the guy, whatever, love him, whatever. He's not perfect. He's human, just like the rest of us. He is flawed, just like every single last one of us. But what you cannot deny is that this man is actually turning things around for the best, for the better. Sorry, English right now, but you have a society has turned away from God. It has become vulnerable to the return of these same demonic influences. In Matthew chapter 12, 43 through 45, where Jesus talks about an unclean spirit returning to a person or nation that has been swept clean but left empty, right? So when when the US cleansed itself of all of this evil, it left it didn't fill it back up, right? When a nation cleanses itself of faith but remains spiritually empty, it becomes a house for returning demons, and the last state becomes worse than the first. So that demon that was put out, kicked out, exercised out, whatever, once he comes back and see that that place is still empty, he's going to come back with company, and it's going to be bigger and worse than it was before. Um, so that's Jonathan Kahn. That's just a brief of Jonathan Kahn. And I advise you. I'll link to a video or so of his in the description below, along with Tim Pool's full episode. This segment as a whole was probably maybe about 20 minutes, possibly. So I'm having to cut it up, and I can't really put it all, of course, in my video. Copyright. Like I said, he's a big fish, Tim Pool is. So I'm not trying to do that stuff to him, but I felt like
I'm
I
not
should
joking.
share.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Hold on. Can I say one thing, and then
Yeah.
you're gonna agree with me? I'm not joking that I think there are demons walking among us who commit evil things that someone like Gavin Newsom would never do.
I agree. And you know what? We've talked about demons and stuff before. I was talking to Jack Posobiec, and I said, telling me that like Jesus resurrected doesn't convince me of Christianity, but telling me there are demons does.
But I think there would be demons in power who would destroy entire states.
But they're not going to be like him. They're going to be behind the scenes.
But I think he fetishizes the destruction and chaos and what he
don't
did to
think he-
California all these
sure.
years.
But my point is, I have met people that defy logic as to their evil.
Bill?
There are people that that I cannot believe the levels of evil. And obviously, when you look at Epstein, you're like, oh, you mean demons? Yeah. Obviously, there are greater demons of power of pure evil and things like that. I'm talking about there are regular people who would like just push you in front of a car for they are seeking to do evil at any level
own
possible
sake.
for fun, for demonic pleasure. And it's crazy how in the past several years it seems to have become more and more pronounced.
I think people are more
So,
because
like, you heard that, right? Now, of course, like there are some things in there, there's some elements to it that I don't 100% agree with, but for the most part, of course, yes. But this is what Jonathan Kahn has to say. He has a video out, and I'll try to post that in the description as well. He has a lot of videos out there on YouTube. He's out there, and he's spoken openly about the demons and their influence on society. Um, one of the videos is called Demons Behind Culture Want Dominion. But in the video, Jonathan Kahn warns that the spiritual forces behind modern culture aren't subtly seeking tolerance. Their ultimate aim is domination. He asserts that these are not mere social or ideological trends, but active demonic entities working to reshape society from the inside out. So they're trying, their sole purpose is to just destroy the biblical foundation that we believe in as a nation and replace it with destruction. Just example, like you heard Tim Pool say, he's like how someone could just randomly just push someone out in front of a moving vehicle and just be like Chill about it. And you see what's going on in California with Democrats going out there and advocating for the return of an illegal immigrant who was involved in human trafficking and God knows what else. But how the border was remained open and all of these drugs and crimes and all of these monstrous, all of these evil things just coming with. And the politicians are out here, and even people who are out here advocating that they're Christians and claiming that, well, God would want us. No, no. Everyone wants to. Let's get this straight. Everybody wants to, or those who are weak-minded, only want you to believe that God is just all love and like there's no um hard side or God of war, side. That's God. God does what He wants to do, and God can be very, very brutal, very brutal. Key example: Lot's wife. That's just one. All right, pillar of salt, turning around, looking back at Sodom and Gomorrah. A pillar of salt. She's not coming back from that. Okay, Jonah and the whale. God told Jonah, go to Nineveh, preach to the people there. Jonah was like, nah, I don't want them. I don't like them. No. What happened? All right. God's like, I got you. Hey, fish, go take him. Or whale, rather. All right. So, look, get that out your head. God does not want us to sit here and just openly tolerate and invite this evil that the politicians are out there trying to manipulate you into believing is good. Getting out there and sacrificing your homes, your cities, your safety, your family, your lives for evil. Okay? We are all out here working. We're doing what we're supposed to do. We're abiding by the law as citizens. Okay? We're abiding by the law, doing what we're supposed to do, doing what's right. We know between right and wrong. We have our morals straight. But what do? They dismiss us and make us look like we're the evil ones. And instead, they're out here advocating for violence, for destruction, for mayhem, for chaos, feeding that evil. Demonic agenda. The spirits are not content with coexistence. They demand control and authority, cultural dominion rather than polite acceptance. All these people out here claiming coexist, ridiculous stickers. No, honey, that's no. Cultural warfare. Jonathan Kahn frames our current moment as a spiritual battlefield with demons orchestrating progressive cultural shifts. Again, Simone Biles right here trying, which was ridiculous because before she was woke, she had she had some sense. And in 2017, the infamous quote that has come back to haunt her stated that if a male gymnast was to compete in the women's version, in the women's gymnastics, that none of those female gymnasts would walk away with the medal because he would have outperformed them each and every time because she knew the difference. But now they're trying to tell you no, a man can go have surgery, have everything changed, and become a woman. What's a woman? Define a woman. Well, who was it? Sheila Jackson? No, that's not her. Sheila Jackson. No. Um, what's her? Ketanji Brown Jackson. There you go. Supreme Court justice, sitting up there wanting to be a Supreme Court justice, get asked, "What is a woman?" Oh, I'm not an expert. I'm not a woman doctor. I'm not a gynecologist. It's not for me to say. What? So they take the things that are natural and they're twisting it. Because one thing that the devil can't create, he can only manipulate. He'll go out there and manipulate, twist it, And look at the cultural shift. A lot of you are actually conservatives, but you are so afraid to actually say it out loud because you have been programmed to believe that because of your skin tone, that you are not allowed to think that way. But you'll still go to church and praise the Lord. You'll still go up there and sing hallelujahs. And you'll sit up there and there's a snake in the pulpit and you over there boohoo whining and crying and acting like you've been moved by the Holy Spirit. No, honey, that's not the Holy Spirit talking. Fight me with, if you want on that, in the comments about that, go ahead. But no. And then even if I tell you, someone told me, I had posted a video, it's been months ago. There was a video I posted and someone commented, and it was a preacher who was actually preaching the truth. Wasn't sugarcoating it, he was based. And she called him evil. True story. It's in one of the videos from way back when. But what needs to happen is that we as believers need to wake up to the spiritual attack. A lot of believers are still asleep. Again, I mentioned the false prophets, the charlatans up in the pulpit that y'all are sending your tithes and offering to, that you are spending countless hours listening to and oh, pastor, preach for me. I mean, pray for me. You better be careful with that. That pastor is not sound. He is not basing any of his teachings on the Bible at all. There's a lot of them out there. And this also ties into Christians needing to be involved in politics, because when we have to recognize the cultural narratives, because they're pushing for moral or spiritual change, and that impacts us as a church. Another key example again is during the COVID lockdowns. They went after the churches, told the churches to shut their doors during, the whole COVID situation. Shut your doors, and if you open them and don't and don't enforce these COVID parameters, social distancing, and all of this, that, and above, you can't have so many people in the congregation sitting out, but at a time, and all of that, then you're going to be fined, heavily fined. And they did that, but who did not close? Who was still out in the streets rioting? You had the what was it, the summer of love, whatnot, that's what it's called anyway, back during George Floyd. They out there rioting, no social distancing. You had politicians going out, you had Anthony Fauci going out to a baseball game. Where is his mask? But y'all out here listening to him. People still wearing masks today, and it's been 5 years. So I know I'm long-winded, but I felt like I needed to put this out there. Hate to cut the clip short on Tim Pool and their conversation, but it was a real good one. It's intriguing. And I hope that you were able to pull a lot of good information, actually think on it, and actually go out there and do some research and listen to what I've been telling you as well. But again, I'll link to Tim Pool's full video, Jonathan Kahn as well, and I believe those are the only clips that I mentioned, along with the other video that I had mentioned before. But hey, you guys, that's all I got for you today. I appreciate you stopping in. Again, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like for the algorithm for me, okay? Please. Like, comment, share it, subscribe, hit the bell to receive notifications for when I do drop a new video. Follow me on Instagram if you have social media. I'm still slow on putting all the other social media platforms together, but I promise you it's coming. I don't know when, but it's coming. But anyway, God bless. Keep God first. Stay prayed up. Stay vigilant. Don't engage with any of this craziness that they are putting before us and trying to get a knee jerk reaction and have your feelings manipulated. Learn the signs, notice it, don't fall for it. Anyway, God bless. See you guys on the next one.